All right, let's dive into some pretty cool Alzheimer's research today. It's a study from Weill Cornell Medicine published in Nature Communications. And it looks at how the way our cells make energy could actually impact our brain health.
Fascinating stuff, really.
Right. It's all about this thing they're calling bioenergetic age.
Yeah, bioenergetic age.
So what is that exactly?
Well, it's not about how many years you've been around. It's more like uh, how efficiently your cells are creating energy. You know, how some cars just run smoother.
Oh, yeah, like a brand new car versus one that's been on the road for a while.
Exactly. As we age, our cells might not be as efficient at producing energy. And this study found a strong link between this decline in efficiency, a higher bioenergetic age, and a greater risk of developing Alzheimer's.
Hold on, so you're saying how well my cells are making energy right now could affect my chances of getting Alzheimer's later on.
That's what this research is suggesting.
But why? Why would that be?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Your brain's like this high-performance engine, right? Needs a ton of energy to function properly if your cells aren't producing that energy efficiently. It's like trying to run that engine on fumes.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But
Yeah.
how did they measure this bioenergetic age in the study?
They looked at levels of certain molecules in the blood called acylcarnitines.
So what now?
Acylcarnitines. They're basically byproducts of the process our bodies use to break down fats and proteins for energy. And when this process isn't working efficiently, these molecules can build up.
So high levels of these acylcarnitines are like a red flag.
Pretty much, yeah. The study found that those higher levels were linked to faster cognitive decline and more severe Alzheimer's symptoms.
So is there anything we can do about it?
That's where things get really interesting. The study found that some simple lifestyle choices, like eating a plant-based diet and exercising regularly, can actually lower those acylcarnitine levels.
Wait, so you're telling me I can potentially slow down my bioenergetic clock just by making healthier
It
choices?
seems that way.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like we can actually take control of our brain health from the inside out.
Absolutely. It's an
Mm.
important concept to grasp.
This is giving me so much hope for the future of Alzheimer's prevention. It's like we're moving away from just treating the disease to actually trying to stop it before it starts.
Yeah, I think that's a huge shift in perspective.
Absolutely. But I'm curious about something.
That's that.
What about those of us who have a family history of Alzheimer's? Does this research offer any hope for them?
Well, the study found that about 30% of participants had a genetic predisposition to Alzheimer's, but they also had good bioenergetic profiles.
So even with the genetic risk, if your cells are doing okay, you might still be all right.
That's what this research seems to suggest.
It tells us that maintaining a healthy bioenergetic age could be a powerful way to protect your brain, even if you have those genes.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
This study suggests that we may be able to use acylcarnitine levels as a kind of early warning system.
Right.
By measuring these levels, doctors could figure out who's at a higher risk and then help them make lifestyle changes.
Exactly. It's about personalized prevention.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for a problem, you can be proactive.
Okay, so let's talk about those risk factors. You mentioned a plant-based diet and exercise. Are there any other lifestyle interventions that stood out in this study?
Well, the study doesn't give us like a step-by-step plan, but
Hmm.
it does offer some clues. Remember those acylcarnitines, the ones
Hmm.
that build up when our cells aren't efficiently breaking down fats and proteins.
Yeah.
Well, the study found that people with high levels of certain acylcarnitines were at greater risk for Alzheimer's, especially the ones involved in fat metabolism.
Huh.
This suggests that dietary changes that target fat metabolism could be really helpful.
So maybe cutting back on saturated fats and upping the healthier fats, like the kind you find in avocados and olive oil?
That's a great idea and something researchers are definitely looking into. There's also a growing interest in the role of ketones.
Ketones, like the keto diet.
Right, some studies suggest that ketogenic diets, which are really low in carbs and high in fat, may help improve cognitive function for people who already have Alzheimer's.
Interesting. What's the logic behind that?
The idea is that by changing the brain's fuel source from glucose to ketones, we might be able to kind of work around some of the metabolic problems linked to Alzheimer's.
So it's not just about what we eat, but how our bodies use what we eat to create energy.
Exactly. And that's where personalized nutrition comes in. By understanding someone's individual metabolic profile, including things like their acylcarnitine levels and genetic predispositions, we could create dietary recommendations to help them achieve optimal bioenergetic health.
It's like a customized meal plan for your brain.
I like that.
But what about exercise? How does that fit into all of this?
Well, exercise has all sorts of benefits for our bodies and our brains. It's good for your heart. It increases blood flow to the brain, and it can even help grow new brain cells.
It's like a workout for your brain and your body.
And from a bioenergetic perspective, exercise can make those cellular powerhouses work more efficiently, the ones that produce energy.
So it's like giving those little energy factories a tune-up.
Right.
But I have to ask, even with a perfect diet and a great workout routine, can we really prevent Alzheimer's completely?
That's the million-dollar question. Alzheimer's is a very complex disease, and lots of things contribute to it. There's no magic bullet. But this research shows us that our lifestyle choices can make a big difference. It's about giving our brains the best possible chance to stay healthy.
I love that. So what are some of the challenges researchers are facing as they look into this bioenergetic approach to Alzheimer's prevention?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is that measuring things like acylcarnitine levels and other metabolic markers isn't really a routine part of healthcare yet.
So we need more access to these tests.
Exactly. Right now, these tests are mostly used in specialized settings. If we want to use them for Alzheimer's prevention, they need to be more available and affordable for everyone.
It's like having this amazing tool, but not everyone can use it.
Another challenge is getting people to actually make and stick with healthy lifestyle changes. It's one thing to know what you should be doing. It's a whole other thing to actually do it.
Yeah, that's definitely the hard part. So much easier said than done. How do we make that happen?
I think it requires a multi-pronged approach, something that looks at both individual things like motivation and education, but also the bigger picture, like access to healthy food and places to exercise.
So it's about creating environments where making healthy choices is easier.
Right. And when it comes to Alzheimer's, it's especially important to think about health equity.
What do you mean by health equity?
It means making sure that everyone has a fair shot at being healthy, no matter their background or circumstances. Alzheimer's disproportionately affects marginalized communities who often face more barriers to healthcare and healthy lifestyle choices.
So it's not just about coming up with new treatments and interventions, it's about making sure everyone has access to those things and creating a world that supports brain health for all. It's a complicated problem that requires researchers, healthcare providers, policymakers, and communities to all work together. It's like we're at a turning point in how we think about Alzheimer's, moving from this reactive treatment-focused approach to a proactive, preventative one that focuses on the individual and prioritizes health equity.
I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
This feels like a huge step forward in the fight against Alzheimer's, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. What are some of the big questions researchers are still trying to answer?
Yeah, what are the big questions now that they have these really interesting results?
Well, one of the most important things is doing more research to bigger studies that last longer.
To see if what they found applies to more people over time.
Exactly. We need more information to be really sure about the connection between bioenergetic age and Alzheimer's risk, and to figure out which lifestyle things work best.
So more research is always good. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think another important thing is finding more accurate ways to measure bioenergetic age. Acylcarnitine levels are good, but there are probably a lot of other things they could look at to give us a clearer picture.
Like putting together a puzzle and each piece gives us more information about how our bodies work.
Exactly. The more we know about these things, the better we can tailor our prevention strategies.
That makes sense. We've talked a lot about preventing Alzheimer's, but it's a tough disease. For people who already have Alzheimer's, what does this research mean for them?
That's a really important question. And while this study focused on prevention, these findings about bioenergetic health could be helpful for treatment too.
How so?
Well, if improving bioenergetic health can slow down or prevent cognitive decline, it might also help manage symptoms in people who already have Alzheimer's.
So even though it's early, there's a chance that this research could help people across the spectrum of Alzheimer's care, from prevention to treatment?
I think so. And that's what makes this field so exciting right now. There's real hope.
I agree. It feels like we're finally understanding the connection between our lifestyle and our brain health in a way that could really make a difference in people's lives. Where do we go from here? What can people listening take away from all of this?
I think this research shows us that we're not helpless against Alzheimer's. The choices we make each day really can make a difference in our brain health.
It's not just fate, we have some control.
Exactly. And even though there's still so much we don't know, we do know that healthy habits like a balanced diet, regular exercise, managing stress, getting enough sleep, all those things are good for our brains.
It's about investing in our future.
And as we continue to learn more about bioenergetic health, we'll get better at making personalized prevention strategies that are designed for each person's specific needs and risks.
Personalized medicine for the brain. Imagine getting a blood test that tells you your bioenergetic age and what you can do to improve it.
That would be great. And with all the research happening now, it might not be that far off.
This has been a really hopeful look at the future of Alzheimer's research. It feels like we're shifting away from fear and uncertainty towards a more hopeful and proactive way of thinking about this disease.
I agree. There's a lot to be optimistic about.
I'm feeling really energized after this deep dive. What a journey it's been. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep learning and keep those brain cells powered up.